Hello everyone and welcome to Fulfillment Friday. It's been a while. I am your host, Silver-Quill, and I'm just making sure everything's hunky-dory on the interwebs because, well, it's been a wild couple of weeks. Very wild. And I must make sure that I am broadcasting correctly to everyone assembled. Well, YouTube looks okay. Yes, it's behaving itself marvelous. And over on the Twitch, also A-OK, marvelous. I'll tell you for a minute there, OBS was saying like, yes, I'm connected. No, yes, no, yes, no, wait, huh, what? It was very confusing. I was confused, and I don't like being that. Oh my goodness. I've been away for a while, and so I have much to tell everybody. So, starting off, we say a fine hello to Cherry Fluff Belly Official. Good to see you. And Pokemon Fire Eevee. Last day of a dead week. Oh dear. That sounds like a tough week. Either boring or just exhausting. Either way, I hope I can provide some entertainment. And let's see here. Anarchomando. Good to see you here. Wondering if this is a first or third party Optimus Prime. Well, we'll explain that very shortly. Preston Cox is here, and, well, showing their youthful spirit by not knowing who Betty Page is. That's one from the record books. Grimwolf, glad to have you here. And Eggmanny GA. Tadita Putty Tat. Well, yes, I guess I do have some feline ancestry in the old hippogriff lineage. Cosmena Inspira and Infinite Warlock. Cartoon Cat Girl. And Enderpup. Good to have you here. Eggman, good to have you here for your first stream. I'm glad you could join us and appreciate it. So. Oh, yes, Warlock, May the 4th is quickly approaching, but well, there was a comic where Transformers crossed over with Star Trek. I guess that's like 2 degrees of separation there. But what can I say? The Enterprise transforming into Fortress Maximus, I believe. Oh, Pokemon Fire Eevee is in Dead Week, as in before the week before finals. No homework, no lectures, no quiz. Supposedly. But you've got to make good. Yes? You've got to get ready for the barrage of questions. So even though there might not be homework, there's plenty of studying. Helping heaping if they can manage. But the question remains, what in the hoo-ha-hey is this Optimus Prime? Well, this is apparently YOLO Park. I believe I'm mentioning the right business. Let me double check that while we're still on the title screen. YOLO Park Optimus Prime. This is quite bizarre. These are Transformer model kits, but not in the sense of you have to snap together a whole bunch of frames. For reasons I don't understand, they just come with like the head, the shoulders, the hands, the torso, the legs, all separate. You just fit them together. Boom. Model kit done. Takes less than 5 minutes. But they are wonderfully accurate to G1 designs. And that is why I got one, because I would like to start doing some more Transformer stuff. And I could use something that is more accurate to the show than necessarily a Transformer. A transforming Transformer, if that makes sense. Good Lord, we're back to Action Masters. You guys might not know those. Way back in the 1980s, at the very, very tail end, I believe, Hasbro thought, what if we made Transformer toys that didn't transform? And they came up with the Action Masters, which were, okay, a bit more cartoon accurate, but they were more like G.I. Joes, but actually less posable than G.I. Joes. Now, so that was the sign that Transformers was done. That was the last thing they did until Beast Wars and other attempts got it back on the public awareness. Nowadays, you can get away with this because there are still transforming toys out there. Alrighty. So, What am I working on? Well, I have this idea. Whoops, and I completely forgot to reset my tip goals. Oh well. And man, I have been out of it. Let me tell you all what I have been up to as I was contemplating this idea. I would like to make some standees of the Equestria girls with an Autobot or Decepticon that I feel matches their style, their personality, or at least shares some sort of connection across the franchises. So, of course, Twilight Sparkle and Optimus Prime, I think, are an excellent idea, an excellent study. Because while Optimus has like 3 or 4 different origins, all of them are humble beginnings and being called upon in time of crisis. Twilight may have more of a destiny theme going with her, but she too started with just a love of books. And I like the idea that the best leader is not necessarily a great combatant, but that they are, and continue to be, educated. That they've studied life, and as such, they are more capable of understanding the present. So, real quick, I'm going to update my stream elements so that we can have some proper credit to librarians. Now, where have I been the last several weeks? Well, boy, howdy, I tell you. Started with my buds, Kirilka Kane and Kaiju no Kami, coming out to Colorado after I helped them move to Florida on a road trip that was quite long. Quite long, I say. And it was exhausting. But it was great to have them back. We had Colorado weather that was essentially all 4 seasons across 4 days. And so that, well, it was a fun tour de force, but getting to see them meant I had to focus on other things than an art stream. So a trade-off. I do enjoy seeing all of you, but I'm just as glad to see my buds. And then, some of you may have seen on Blue Sky, I came down with terrible food poisoning last week. Well, I've had further information because yesterday I had the same terrible feeling. It was, well, I won't go into detail because I like you all too much, but it was not a day for streaming or fun. I was basically just in the bathroom a lot. And I found out that some medication I'm taking, it's most potent 2 days after being taken. And guess when I took my medicine both weeks? That's right, Tuesday. And as a result, so I need to talk to my doctor because I don't want to have to give up a whole day just to feel awful. Now, one more update. Just looking for one more quote on libraries. Okay, here we are. Ah, goodness. So yeah, I'm out of practice, it seems. But I'm glad to be back, feeling much better, much stronger. It's going to be an adventurous weekend as it's the start of the racing season at the Colorado National Speedway. And I will be helping update, or rather, how can I put it? I will be helping stream the races starting tomorrow. I thought it was next weekend, but, well, surprise! But it's not too big a surprise. I am ready. I am prepared. All right, now let's see. Goals. So followers, total. Oh. Goals, there you are. All right, so having been just a little off my game. Let's see if I can't get back into the swing of things. Good. OBS is working properly. So the idea here is Twilight and Optimus were both librarians in their own way. Why is the... One sec, I'm just going to switch back to the title and back to streaming, see if it behaves itself then. If not, oh well. What can I say about librarians? The study of knowledge, the understanding of the past to understand the future is magnificent. So I thought it'd be good if Optimus had a sort of hologram array of the 13 primes, and Twilight was conjuring magic from a book. It doesn't even have to be great magic. Books have their own unique magic. So I gathered some references. This is a body Chan. It's a highly posable Revoltech figure with interchangeable parts. Although looks pretty blurry. That's okay. All I need is a general pose. And, well, an Optimus Prime figure. But I'm not going to be satisfied with just duplicating this look. Optimus is his own bot, and he needs real design. Nathan Duazo, I am here. I art right just here. Boop. Good, and the text is scrolling. I was worried there for a sec. So, let's get a little music going just to settle into the mood. Excellent. Let me know if too loud. Yeah. Oh, no, Preston, I'm not racing. I will be operating the camera that records the racers. No, I have no ability to race. That would be something if I was a YouTuber, writer, and race car driver. But no, there's only so much a person can do, and I'm perfectly happy staying out of the racetrack. Now, funny enough, I wanted to give this the full art approach, so I'm not going to be drawing these characters in their proper colors just yet. I'm instead going to create a black and white line art and then import that into Photoshop for drawing and coloring. Because I think that's a lot spiffier. You can get much better gradients and control of color tones. Plus, I've been looking for tutorials online for new, more modern coloring abilities, because I admit I'm a little bit out of touch with Photoshop, and there's some pretty neat ideas out there now. I am eager. So I want to give it a go. So this Optimus, though wonderfully designed and engineered, is not the he's not the prime example. Sorry, it took a minute to get the volume up on that thing. And let's see, 1, 2, 3 lines to form his headpiece. Everyone has drawn Optimus just a little bit different. And that's fine with me. And of course, there is always that classic Beast Wars line. That's just Prime. Oh, what's left of him? At which point they promptly slapped Rat Trap, and I don't blame them at all. Beast Wars. I was so doubtful of Beast Wars when it first came out. I mean, I'm a G1 guy. I was so uncertain if this could really be an effective legacy. Well, it was. Highly pleased, great storytelling, amazing character deaths and send-offs. At least in most cases, Air Razor and Tigatron kind of got hosed. But Dinobot, oh boy. Did Dinobot ever become MVP of a cause he at one point didn't even know if he believed in. It's funny that years later, I came across a Warhammer game where he was the voice of a Chaos Space Marine. And I was like, wait, that's Dinobot. But what else? You know, starting to think, should have put Twilight on all of Twilight's references on the left and Optimus on the right. No, that's not political affiliation. That's just my idea of efficiency. Huh, interesting. So Optimus Prime, bless him. It's a little bit, it's a little downward angle. Dinobot the goat, says Kirby. Exactly right. And I agree with Blue Griffin. Air Razor and Tigatron deserved much better. They were shuffled off rather hastily, brought back just in time to die. Maddening. But of course, the greatest was Waspinator. Waspinator, happy at last. Until Beast Machines undid a whole lot. I mean, like, it is just the worst. Okay, gotta be even more economic in this. There we go. Let's get the big guy. Woo. There we go. That's a better reference for his noggin. And then we just slide this. Whoop. Now then. Here we go. And we'll just make that a little smaller because this is line art. Do you think Transformers Run restored faith in Transformers movie? Well, that's the hard thing, Blue Ink. You see, first off, great movie. Loved it. Thought it was fantastic. And so it definitely soars above any other movie. Dare I say, though, with some hesitation, I think it's even better than the G1 movie. Because while that'll always be one of my favorites, but in terms of storytelling, characterization, handling of themes, and really actually making you feel sorry for the fallout of Optimus and Megatron, or Orion Pax and D16. But here's the problem. The advertising really hamstrung the piece right out of the gate. I mean, holy crud. They tried to present it all as just a comedy with a lot of incompetence. And as a result, well, sometimes it really betrayed what were otherwise awesome scenes. So fewer people went to see it. They weren't ready. They didn't want to see an utter absurdity. But, well, their loss. I hope it finds greater attention in streaming, because I would love for there to be another Transformers movie of that caliber. go. Let's see. One of the things I want to try to do as I venture into Transformers territory is give it a little bit of a different look. There is an episode in G1. It is called Call of the Primitives. Apparently, through various subcontracting, the animation for the episode was done by, I believe, college students in animation, of course. But they did a phenomenal job. They went with a very unique anime style that was different from any episode that had come before, and to be honest, was better than what most professionals put out. And I tell you, right here, right now, I wish we could have gotten more episodes like that. I hope those young artists got jobs within the profession, because they certainly earned it, in my opinion. So, I would like to try and emulate style of Call of the Primitives, which means, well, not everything is just straight up. There's a lot more exaggerated angles. And we're going to see, so as I work on this, I'm also going to be refining and hoping that I can do Optimus Prime true justice in what I consider to be a pretty wild and wonderful style. Okay, what do I think of the G1 episode Bot? Eggman asked. Oh, Bot. Okay. For the context, for those who may not be as big into the G1, it's pretty infamous that the G1 Transformers movie, 1986, really traumatized a bunch of kids because they killed off pretty much almost every G1, or sorry, season 1 character, and a few of season 2, if we're being real honest. Optimus Prime might be the most famous, but boy howdy, what they did to Ironhide, Prowl, Ratchet, and Brawn at the beginning. My inner child still weeps. Bot was the last episode of season 2. It featured a lot of characters who had been their first time, and then it featured a bunch of really annoying humans. And it was not a good episode. Not for me. Characters made bad choices, plot threads were left dangling, and ultimately, even the central premise just fell apart. The central premise being that after being blasted by the Combiner Defensor, the other Combiner, Bruticus, was in pieces, and all of his components got sold off by the treacherous Swindle. Unfortunately, one of those pieces found their way to a high school that, well, some would-be geniuses installed a Decepticon personality in their Project Robot, and it became just pure violence, or at least as violent as a children's cartoon in the 80s would allow, which surprisingly was more than modern day, I believe. So as a send-off, look, on its own as an episode, it's already not great. As a final farewell to several Transformers who struggle against this human Decepticon hybrid that isn't even that intimidating, it's almost insulting. No, I do not like the episode Bot. And the fact that these were even one-off humans, there's no other follow-up to them, no future for them. And so, man, it's like every time you think it can't go lower, it goes lower. There is no they go low, we go high with this one, folks. There's just outrage. Meh. No, Eggman, don't be sorry you brought it up. Well, bad episodes are a thing. And if I take off my nostalgia goggles, I'll say it right now. The fact that people who were kids back in the 80s are now making cartoons, and a lot of them are vastly superior in terms of storytelling, characterization, and of course, continuity. That's nothing to lament. It's just that, well, I know what I enjoyed in my childhood. I didn't have a lot of other stuff as basis for comparison. But I liked it. I will always think fondly of it. But I can also admit I'm glad of an upward trend. I hope that trend continues. Come on. Hit the right button eventually. Now I will share what I think is a not so popular opinion. There was another episode called The Golden Lagoon. Season 2, it focused on the Autobot Beachcomber, who was something of a naturalist. I was tempted to compare him and Fluttershy. But ultimately, I think Fluttershy and Soundwave actually have a lot more in common. Beachcomber had one of the most bittersweet endings in the series. I won't get too much into detail. And I think a lot of fans really love him for it. I'm more critical because I thought a lot of his choices throughout that episode led to his bittersweet ending. And so while I feel sorry for the guy in the episode, I also can't help but think, well, you did bring this on yourself. As such, I'm not as big a Beachcomber fan as I think other Transformer compadres. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying I have a different view on things. I hate that people that have to add conditionals now. It's too easy to make it sound like I think this is wrong, therefore I think you're wrong. That's the connection we understandably make in our heads, but that is not the reality of it. Oh goodness. This line width is tricky. I wonder if it has anything to do with this guy. But of course, Optimus Prime, the GOAT. I mean, it's true that Dinobot is also, he's the Beast Wars GOAT. Optimus is the G1 GOAT. But thankfully, he does not transform into a GOAT. Well, sadly, with all that's been going on, I didn't get to see the movie GOAT. Did folks enjoy it? I remember there's a fellow, Khalid Hussein, who would come by the streams and only want to talk about Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. Can only imagine the weight that person's feeling in the wake of GOAT. It's either, hey, I hope Spider-Verse is this good, or they delayed Spider-Verse for this. Blue Griffin knows what I'm talking about. He quoted Beachcomber, "We won." And you remember Golden Gloom more than you do Bot. Well, I consider that an upgrade. Although it's funny, I mean, I don't remember Beachcomber in season 3, but he didn't get offed in the movie. Therefore, I have hope for him. I mean, technically, a lot of early Autobots still survived, but they're no longer front and center. I found it kind of funny when I checked the Transformers wiki, and Sunstreaker, a yellow Lamborghini, I believe, he actually made a quick appearance in the Japanese series, mostly just getting out of the way as a Decepticon shot at him. So, you know, props for survival instinct. Can't fault the guy there. Huh. This line profile down here in the corner looks like a wine glass. A fine vintage of Optimus Prime. Yes, it's the 1986 version. Quite nice. There we go. Whoop. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons today. I'm out of practice. I'm off my rocker. Oh dear. Yep, I need to refine my shapes. Now, I'll tell you all one character of whom I've modified my opinion, and that's Rodimus Prime. Back in the day, I didn't like him. I mean, he was Optimus's replacement. He was, well, it was easy to be bitter. As I've gotten older, I've actually appreciated that he was struggling with, for lack of a better term, imposter syndrome. And as he learned to be more of a commander, I'm sure he would have been great. But by that point, they caved and resurrected Optimus, which it was a mistake to kill Optimus in the first place. But I think it's also a mistake to then try and undo it because, well, death is not something we freely talk about. And I'm not sure it's a great idea to have a character just come back from the dead willy-nilly. Of course, that's become the norm now. Optimus Prime rotates through the pearly gates so often, I'm surprised they don't have an express checkout for him. In fact, there's the thing. Count the many deaths of Optimus Prime. Am I going crazy, Komodo Steel? Yes. Honestly, I feel like that's my factory default at this point in time. In this day and age. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now, what's next for Transformers? I don't know. Optimus Prime, he's no longer going to be voiced by his original. That's too bad. But I understand. Retirement is well earned. But I look forward to seeing what other actors will bring to prime time. And we're going to angle this out a little bit more. Ask ourselves, how can we make Optimus more anime-y? The many deaths of Megatron, Preston Cox. Well, I guess the funny thing is the many deaths of Megatron are all that he becomes Galvatron. And then Galvatron kicks the bucket. I mean, few of them are ever as dramatic as Optimus. Although I guess Megatron does die a lot in the Bay movies, but then gets resurrected. Even so, I am hesitant to give Bay movies any credit, though there are some ideas that started with them, particularly that Optimus and Megatron were as close as brothers, if not literally brothers. It would explain why Optimus was usually more hesitant. Again, Megatron... Oh, I should see if I can show this. There he is. One sec, I'm just pulling up a little something. Galvatron was the servant of Unicron. He did not become Unicron, but he was the servant of. And of course, he had ambitions to turn the tables and make Galvatron, or make Unicron his servant, of course. Of course. Oh, come on. Of all the times, open image and new tab. That's all I ask. Ah, taking its sweet time. Well, at one point in the Japanese Transformers, here we are, he wanted to become Grand Galvatron. And boy, that's pretty tiny. Look, this is his idea of becoming a world eater. He certainly looks like he did. This was just a conceptual idea on a computer screen, but there's no way anyone would take this as a serious villain. I'm sorry, rounded shapes are not considered threatening. Of course, that was the same episode he got defeated by the headmasters, sealed in an iceberg, and that was it for him. Until, years later, he was resurrected as Super Megatron. But wasn't as cool as, say, Star Convoy, Optimus Prime's resurrected and upgraded self. Alright, let's not I shouldn't get too far off from the inspiration. But what I should do is get that second spire going. I aspire to draw the spire. Yes, I've been keeping tabs on the Transformers franchise, even in my Brony days. I'm sure Hasbro wouldn't mind either way. Here we go. Slightly more off angle so that it can have more of a literal point to it. Oh yeah, check out this majesty. Let's save right now because I really do not want to lose this. Too weird. Merchandise. What would I even call this? Equestria Formers. Twilight Optimus. And save. Alright, so how are we all doing in the chat? Is it true that Cliff Jumper never lasts long in any seasoned iteration of the story? Tischel? Tischel. Apologies, I'm having a little trouble with pronunciation. Well, okay. For some reason, Cliff Jumper and Blur have both been killed off a lot lately. I mean, it's crazy. Cliff Jumper was a steady presence in the first season of Transformers, with some roles, and he survived the movie, but then he was down to background appearances. Killing Blur has been more of a thing in recent iterations. Why, I do not know. I mean, what? I mean, honestly, killing a Transformer is a terrible thing to do. How dare they? Here we go. I'm intentionally unbalancing the lines so that lines that are thicker or closer to the viewer are a little thicker. Maybe not that. 3.5. There we go. Alrighty, now let's close off the top of his noggin. Brig 7, it's going well. How about yourself? Nope. Cosmic Inspira Cliff Jumper never had many cliffhangers. He was very straightforward bot. Voiced by the immortal Casey Kasem, better known for voicing Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. What's that there? There we go. Let's see here. Not totally feeling this section. How thick is this line? Let's make that 0.35 as well. And we'll cut it off a key. There we are. There we go. So Prime's getting ahead. Actually, when I think about it, Optimus got decapitated more than a few times in that series. Did you hear about the He-Man movies that's coming out this summer? Blaze picks. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I admit, a little apprehensive. Because, well, having, as the creator of He-Man just passed away, I'd very much like this to be a fitting send-up. But I realize that's kind of an uphill battle. A lot of people now know He-Man through the "Hey Ya" meme. I said, hey, what's going on? But the truth is, the better thing about He-Man is that he was the most powerful man in the universe. But much like Superman, he did not flaunt that power. He asked, how can I help with this? What can I do for others? And that's what made him a genuine hero. It's not the power itself, it's the person wielding it and the choices they make. So I'm very curious to see what they do next. Now, I will say this. There's always a set of folks who seem intent on demonizing or vilifying what they perceive to be woke material. And the movie trailer features a pronoun joke in a show called He-Man. I really don't think you can get upset about a pronoun joke in He-Man. Just seems crazy to me. Absolutely cray-cray. Ah, shocker, you too enjoyed He-Man growing up. Ah, Enderpup, Star Fox. You know, I played a little bit of Star Fox when it was first on the SNES, but I loved it on the N64. I mean, that became the Star Fox. Unfortunately, they always seem to struggle with what comes next. Star Fox Adventures, kind of weird, but it introduced Crystal, who became a team member. Like that idea. Then we had Star Fox, which one was it? There was Star Fox Assault, where they tried to come up with a threat worse than Andros. I like the idea. Props for at least attempting. But then there was Star Fox Command with its multiple endings, most of whom were intensely dissatisfying. Intensely, I say. So if there's another game coming out, I hope it's more than just a rehash of the original Star Fox plot. Like to see Fox and crew doing their own thing again. Even if they are just a mercenary band, they're a mercenary band with a sense of justice. Here we go. A fan game called Event Horizon has the original VA for Crystal and Wolf O'Donnell. Huh. But when I hear Event Horizon, I think of a less than stellar, pun intended, horror movie. Ah, okay, so there's a Discourse server for Crystal's VA. I wonder what she thinks of what they did with her character. Or if she's had a chance. I mean, she had speaking lines in Star Fox Assault and Adventure. Not so... I wonder if she did the gibberish for Star Fox Command. Blue Griffin remembers a great quote from He-Man. Any life, even an evil one, is worth saving. Now, alternatively, they could lean into at least one ending and have Star Fox's son, or Fox and Crystal's son, form an entirely new Star Fox team. Ah, did I undo all of my hard work? Well, joke's on you. I'll just do this. And then I'll do this. Haha. Coming along. Now then, I suppose next up I should get Optimus's body relatively close, or my. Though he is leaning forward in this case, so... Well, Preston Cox, you never know when you might want to play Star Fox. It's a fun game. Although, from what I understand, I never played it on the Wii, where they had frickin' chicken mechs. Your cool space fighter transforms into a chicken. I eagerly await the Scootaloo jokes. But I say they nay. Fox deserves something cooler. Alrighty, and then we'll just add a little bit of 3D-ishness. There we are. Now, let's see. I always remember Peter Cullen's brother giving the best advice before his audition for Optimus. Make him strong enough to be kind. Now, if that isn't a great example of why he's a beloved leader... Now, forgive me on the topic of leadership. I was very startled to hear about the ballroom attack this past weekend. But when they say, oh, this is the reason why we have to build the ballroom now, it's like, look, unless you're going to build a ballroom for schools and all the kids that have had to face the possible of this same violence, no. Absolutely not. You look after our schools and offer more than thoughts and prayers in the face of danger, then maybe I'll afford you the same opportunity. Because there is no kindness in saying I should have a ballroom. Who do I think will take my place as the Red Heavy in TF2 Analyst Anarchy Blaze? I don't know. They may leave it vague for a time. I made a suggestion, but it's not my decision to make. Whoever it will be, I hope that they have fun with it. I'm not feeling this part. Let's see what we can do about that. Here we go. You thought of yourself as a demo man, and the joke is you acted drunk while drinking root beer. Shocker. That would be interesting. So you've got a root beer problem. I don't have a problem. You've got a problem. It's funny, I was talking with Anthony C. this week, and both thought about Lazy Purple and its How It Feels series. I really do hope one day to see how it feels to play the medic. The class everyone hopes for, but no one wants to play because nobody wants to be the team healer. There we are. Optimus Prime, fully rested and barrel-chested. But a little off in the panels. Let's see if I can eyeball this. No, that's not quite right. Ah, I see part of my problem here. I'm not too far off, but I should follow this at least a little bit more. Yep. And yep. There we go. All right, so P. That's not to say you're overpowered, though you are the mightiest of the Autobots. No matter what Grimlock says. Here we go. Yep. Do I have any transform? Oh, Kenny Sue. I still have some of the toys from when I was a kid. None of them are complete, of course, because being a kid, I didn't keep tabs on them properly. But yes, I have enjoyed a resurgence of collecting Transformer toys, and tell you true, a part of me is jealous that this is the toys I wish we could have had back in the 80s. You know, the Studio Series 86, the movie accurate toys, and far better transformations and styles. But hey, The important thing is that, one, they're available now, and two, hopefully that inspires another generation. That said, what I really want is for the pricing to change, and that ain't going to happen until this whole tariff business is settled. Sorry, I don't mean to keep dredging up politics, but it's a statement that even toy collection is impacted by decisions of people in power. I even have a few third-party Transformers, and I am floored by the amount of engineering. I've got like a third-party Ultra Magnus. It's more like an origami project than a toy. You have to fold it 50 different ways to get from robot to truck mode, and it's amazing, but good God, I could not figure it out by hand. Not at all. Need, even if the instructions were in Japanese, but mostly photograph. So just follow that. But yeah, I believe Jobby Hong did a review of that particular toy, and even he stated that he couldn't believe how much they engineered that thing. Yes, Inquisitor, action figures are expensive, especially if they are of quality. But every bit that contributes to that expense, I'm looking for any way to lower the price as much as possible. On the plus side, I've discovered that Colorado has a rather thriving secondhand market going on. So I've been able to find figures and Transformers that I would otherwise have been too late to grab. But no, perhaps the insight greatest of all is that now I know what my parents had to face when they were buying my brother and I Christmas presents. Are like, these things are expensive, and I appreciate now what they did for me back then. I will make sure to tell them that when next I see them. How would Twilight Sparkle fight Megatron, Preston? Well, Twilight's a curious case. I mean, she's not usually out there trying to beat or end the bad guy. She'd want him contained, to be sure, but then comes, I would say, trying to redeem him, which, good God. Then again, if they do go by Transformers 1 or similar logic, Optimus and Megatron are quite the friendship problem. Although a part of me likes to envision Equestria as kind of a what would we call it? Non-combatant, a neutral zone for both parties. While they're there, they're forbidden from fighting. But it is a place to, in a sense, recharge the spirit after so many millennia at war. I am thinking this is not right. There we go. That seems more. And maybe a bit more of a slant on this end. Now then, a quick little save. You had only, oh wait, I saw the comment and then I lost it. Had only one Transformer toy. All right, that was Eggman. So, Curious Eggman, what one Transformer toy did you have? Inquiring Silvers want to know. Wonderfully put, Brick 7. Starting a civil war because your brother's too good of a librarian is a hell of a friendship problem. Yeah, I don't think Twilight would be unbiased in this. Oh, that is a wonderful way to describe it. Now then, how would Twilight defeat Megatron? I mean, Megatron's, if it's just one-on-one, he's touting a fusion cannon, and I imagine that's not an easy thing for her to counter, but it is counterable. I mean, she went to hoof with Tyrek, even though she had the power of 3 alicorns with her. Mr. We're evenly matched. It's like, nah, I think she's actually winning. That's why he had to pull out the rather cowardly move of threatening her friends. What toy? It was a Happy Meal. I think it was Bumblebee, yellow and black. Well, yep, that sounds like Bumblebee to me. Could never work out how it folded. Well, that's probably more engineering trouble than user error. I can't imagine Happy Meal toys were all that interested in high quality. But one thing I like about official Hasbro toys over third party is that Hasbro toys almost tell you how they want to be transformed. It's almost a dialogue if you're willing to look. All the hinges tell you which way it folds, all the different styles, and yes, if you check the box for artwork, I don't consider that cheating. You can parse it out. As I said, third parties, however, are so meticulously engineered, I'm not confident you could just figure it out. There are, in fact, so many folds that it's like the toy is screaming at you. Less a dialogue and more of a Twitter thread, if you will. You know, I closed down my Twitter just before all the, what was it, Groks? But basically all the AI artwork and abuse thereof. I haven't missed it. I still like communicating over Blue Sky, and I scratch my head when I hear that people are saying Blue Sky is pretty terrible too. Thankfully, I haven't encountered that yet. But I just, I don't know. I guess I like connecting with people through creative works and expressions. I'm not great at social media, which I'm pretty sure a bunch of people are going, yeah, obviously. Oh, I don't like how this is going. Okay, time for a redo. Too much. All right, so let's group you up, and let's see if this actually works. Object, blend, make. Not bad. Close, not perfect. That's what I don't get. All right, well, that looks pretty good right there. Object, expand. Very good. Oh, it's still... There you go. Just bring these up a little. And while it may look accurate to my pose, I'm going to just shift this over a little. Optimus's usually washboard abs look more like an accordion. All right. I'm not one to give up just yet. Let's make this nice and even. Steven. Alrighty, so. Anarcomundo. I appreciate you've been following me on Brony's React and since high school and into college. Well, my goodness. What are you, sophomore? Juniors? Are you in your senior year? That'd be something. All right, once again, we will try the blend mode. Brony's React. You know, I feel bad. I took a very long time to get my reactions into Saber. Oh, no, not Saber, Race Best. And, well, that delayed, and now there's been so much going on. I hope that they'll get to release Brony's React in the near future. But as I unintentionally contributed to the delay, I can't really wag my finger or anything. There we go. That looks a bit better. Always love that scene where Optimus is charging in his vehicle mode in the movie, the 86 movie. And I believe it is Dirge who sees his reflection in the grill just before getting tossed up in the air. I mean, Optimus was GTAing his way through the Decepticons. Ah, Cartoon Cat Girl, your mom is retiring. Well, hopefully hopefully it's a good, easy going rest. If you don't mind my asking, from which job is she retiring? Here we go. She's vice principal. Oh boy. So she's not only been a parent, but also, well, something of a secondary parent to an entire school full of individuals. I hope it's been a fun run. And a friend of mine is, his wife is a teacher. And some of the kids they described, oh boy. It's the stereotypes you hear of kids whose parents don't want to discipline them, so the kids become very entitled and hostile. I hope that has not been the experience for your family. Not you. I'm not accusing anyone of being entitled, but as a vice principal, I'm sure your mom had to deal with a lot of problem children too. It's already 7:30 on my clock. Boy, time flies when you're drawing and talking Transformers. Now that you need to listen to alternate rock and metal music, Enderpup, says Inquisitor 751. But what did Enderpup say? Oh, yes, The Touch. Stan Bush. You know, that song was apparently written for a Rocky movie, but I would argue he gained far greater notoriety and fan loyalty from the Transformers fandom, and I think he realizes that. Whoop, a little too thin there. Here we go. There we go. The hands are going to be a fun part to draw. Think I'll save that towards the end. Although now it's time to, there we go, add a little bit more play with the perspective. So just spaces for the sunbow animation. Well, no, NR Commando. It is definitely based on Optimus Prime, and trying to get as close to G1 as I can. But I'm trying just a few things to make him more. What's the proper term? Exaggerated perspective. On that topic, let's try a little something something. Gonna group this all together. Maybe. Yeah, not bad. Well, let's see. It's a tough one because Optimus is so. He's a powerfully built transformer. I definitely want to add more exaggeration in like the shape of the pipes on his shoulders, or well, let's see, maybe if I bring this over a little. Not trying to just trace a real world example. I want to give him sort of an angular look. I have actually a Japanese book of Transformers with all manner of drawings. Of course, since I unfortunately cannot read kanji, so I don't know what the proper term is for the book, and therefore if I can find images online. Oh wait. A thought occurs. Please stand by as I check for some other Transformer references. Transformers. Surprised I didn't think of this sooner, but, well. Checking. I know. Oh, here. No, that's more. Come on, gosh darn you. I know I saw me some Transformers artwork that was just plain amazing. Well, gosh darn. I guess not. Well, here's an example at least. Whoa. Pretty big example. This is from one of those art books. Now, while there are a great many Autobots featured in this, let's focus in on Prime. See how, one, there's a great deal more of a chrome approach with all the lines of shading. But also the angle of his, for lack of a better term, antennae, the slope of his body to exaggerate sharp lines. The fact that, oh god, they nearly killed Cliffjumper even in this media. Yeah, so I'd like to try and go for more of that style if possible. But I need to gather more references. At the same time, I don't want to over-stylize him to the point where he's no longer Optimus. Now he's Edgimus Prime. There you go. That's all you need. Edgimus Prime. I'm so sharp, no one can battle me. They only cut themselves. Like so, like so. Edgimus Prime. Now that would be something. But gosh darn, if I can't find more images of Optimus. Ah, well. I should not let myself get distracted. The search can wait until after the stream for more references. But this is a good foundation to work with. Alrighty. Looking good. In the hood. I probably shouldn't say that. I'm just showing my age. You guys know the first time I really showed myself on camera, people were surprised that I was overweight, balding, and white. One person was surprised I was white. I'm still trying to parse out how I gave an impression otherwise. How, I ask you? How? Komodo Steel remembers die-cast chrome. It's a lost art. One of the funnier moments before Beast Wars ended on yet another holy crud cliffhanger. They were good at that. But this was in the 90s, where plenty of shows that I liked ended on cliffhangers and never got that second season. So I was like, no, is my last memory of this going to be them screaming as time is rewritten? That would be an awful way to end the series. When you name yourself Cliff Jumper, you're just asking to die, says Kinisu. That's true. Now, what about if he had been Cliff Diver? Well, he'd probably have to be aquatic. Ah, poor Sea Spray. Never really taken seriously because of that voice. Then Depth Charge comes in at Beast Wars, and I was like, what a badass! I remember there's a website called Little Formers, L-I-L Formers. He once had sort of chibi, super deformed versions of the Transformers. And Sea Spray asking Depth Charge, why do people like you more? Depth Charge replies, well, that's easy, because I don't sound like I'm gargling milk all the time. Alrighty. Now then, OP, what shall we do for your leg details? Here we go. Yep. Zap Strider, I was in my 30s. I appreciate you describing me as a wise fan. But I gotta say that weirded me out for a time. I thought people didn't want to see the real me. I even wore masks to conventions. It can get into your head. Now then, we need to, well, first we'll get the second leg. The second leg of our journey. Silver, oh God, a fursuit. You know, first BronyCon I ever attended, I asked if a person in their fursuit about it, and he showed me like the, what was it? The fan in the nose, the layering. It is a test of endurance to wear a fursuit. My hat is off to people who can do that through an entire weekend. I doubt I could last more than an hour or three because, that just looked really, really, really exhausting. But my gosh, so to all the fursuiters out there, I salute you. You are more hardcore than people give credit. Though I do wonder, is there anything, I wonder if there's anything that could be created that could help regulate body temperature in such heavy clothing, like I don't know, some sort of gel layer to moderate body temperature. Keep you cool even if you're wearing hot stuff. I have to imagine that for like Arctic efforts, there's something like that. All right, now we come to a decision. Because Optimus, the toy, is happy to have these gaps because that's where the joints are. The illusion of the cartoon realm is something a little different. So how am I going to handle this? One, I'm going to add a bit more of an angle here. But what to do over here? There we go. See, I'm going to get rid of that. Boop. There we are. And maybe lower this section down just a little. Hey. I guess I've got so much going on, my computer isn't able to change the icons so easily. Yep, Inquisitors fursuits can go up to over $1,000, and that's a conservative estimate. Well, that's a fair question, Cartoon Cat Girl. All the folks at Disney parks, good gravy. How do they handle the heat? Then again, I keep seeing all these videos of the Olaf robot falling over, and well, that probably some parents had to explain Olaf was just feeling a little off that day. Ah, Olaf. I am funny. Alrighty. What do we got? Still feel like there's something I could do to perhaps exaggerate Optimus's appearance just a little. I'm gonna try something again. Oh, I see how it is. How fickle is the dividing line, or the mask shape? So fickle. Fickle-ickle. Well, yeah, I could actually see this working. Maybe emphasize... Oh, gotta go back over here. Emphasize... Whoops. Just this. All I want is this. There you go. I'll tweak the masking, but I've only got like 15 minutes. Let's at least give him a foot to stand on, eh? Hello, Paw Patrol fan. How are you doing? You know, I have one regret with the My Little Pony Transformers. They did a great crossover comic series. But in the second one, the ponies got suits that allowed them to transform into friendship-powered weapons, if that even makes sense. It's like, why didn't Hasbro make those? I'd buy them in a heartbeat. Alrighty. Shrink down that size to 5 again. Object blend make. Should only be like 1. Yep. Object expand. Don't turn it into a fill. Just make it a stroke. Perfect. How would that even work, Surging River? Well, I have a personal theory. Rarity and Fluttershy both turned into shields. So with Fluttershy, I could imagine that there's just this aura around the shield that you wouldn't dare want to hurt it. It's too precious. And with Rarity's shield, you wouldn't dare scuff it for all the energon in the universe, because you know she'd remember it. Applejack became a hammer and Rainbow an axe. So with Applejack, I imagine that striking with the hammer is like the equivalent of her bucking a tree. She's got great striking power. And Rainbow, swing that axe and you just generate sonic rain booms. Pinky, of course, transformed into a party cannon, hand cannon. And, well, Megatron was more than a little confused by that. Twilight became a sword, and Optimus wielded her. I have no idea how that works, though. Do you feel more friendly after you've been cut by it? That doesn't sound healthy at all. Oh, yes, and Komodo Steel's right that Spike became a flamethrower. Green flame, of course. Which makes me wonder, could he actually transport an enemy if he lit it on fire? And they were battling King Sombra, who had taken over the body of the Titan Scorponok. So, what was it? Scorpa-Sombra? Nah. Sombranok? I forget the exact term. Alrighty. How are we looking? Looking good. Looking like a proper prime. It's kind of funny to think that once upon a time there were only two primes, Optimus and Rodimus. And while like I say, Transformer fans, including myself, held quite the grudge against Rodimus for a time, truly, you wouldn't have the 13 if the movie didn't set up Prime could be a title. And I can safely say Rodimus is no longer considered the worst Prime because Sentinel exists. And he's awful in just about every iteration. Go. All right. Oh, and the music ran itself dry. Let's see. Inquisitor 751 saying, depending on what character from what fandom, it'd be as low. Oh, okay. This is on fursuits. Making fursuits can be as low as 200 to 1,000 plus. Someone made the Juggernaut suit from Modern Warfare 2 for airsoft around $2,000. Okay, so this is cosplay, not just fursuits, but I mean, it's their choice, their money. That's impressive. Goodness knows I've invested in fandom things that were not, how can I put it, necessities, and yet they're still kind of fun. But boy, howdy, the dedication of cosplayers is a thing to behold. Uh-oh. Here you go. Oh, and down here, only a little time left, but I'm just going to shuffle this again. Although, when I work on this next, I might turn on audiobooks. Obviously not for the stream. That would be gross copyright violation. But I'm currently at near the tail end of Words of Radiance, the Stormbringer Archives, and by Brandon Sanderson, and it is a magnificent series. Highly recommend. Very good. Yeah, this is looking good. Just gonna test something real quick. If I bring this out a little, can I extend Optimus Prime's cranium? Ah! Yes, Brick 7. Unfortunately, I've only read the first and second books so far. Or rather, I'm on the second book. But it's a wonderfully done piece. There we go. And before we close out for the night, let's just get a little bit of a tozy going for him. You know, it's funny, when there's a Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, basically a toy based on him from the movie. And people are complaining something about the toe and the gray inside the toe was wrong. And, well, to me, that feels like you've been given a filet mignon and you're complaining about the garnish. I don't consider it too big an issue. I mean, come on, it's an Optimus Prime that's even better than I remember. I can't get too complaining about that. But I also appreciate people have an eye for accuracy. I cannot fault that. Oh yes, and this is just incidental, not apropos of nothing. I got an email from Big Bad Toy Store saying that my Princess Cadence Kotobukiya figure is on the shipping on a container on a boat that's making its way across the sea to us. So she might be released in later this month. And I just thought, well, that's unexpectedly exact. I didn't realize they were being so precise with their pre-orders. So I'm wondering about making a review video of just a figure, although it's perhaps more accurate to say a statue, as it's really just you can't pose it or anything, but you don't need to. It can just look nice. Alrighty. Cosmo, you had a good joke in there? Oh, nice. Your cat is demanding that you feed him meow. It is the top of the hour, Enderpup, and I know I've said let's see here at least once during this year's stream. But in the meantime, everyone, thank you for coming to visit with me once again. Twice. I only said it twice. Well, we'll work on that. But thank you, everyone, for coming to this stream, for giving me a chance to catch up with y'all and recount the various adventures. And it's been fun to talk about Transformers. I will keep working on Optimus Prime, and soon we shall add Twilight Sparkle into the mix. And then, boy howdy, I'll have to figure out how to get these properly properly designed for a standee. I have ideas. Whether they'll be successful ideas, well, that's anyone's guess. But until the next time, I hope y'all have just a wonderful weekend, a chance to rest up, to be with friends, family, or just to enjoy some time on your own. But whatever the case, just be well. In fact, be safe and be